Hi guys, Dragoneither here today doing a updated Cosmo deck profile. So let's get into it, shall we? Before you question why things are in here, they're in here for a good reason. The deck plays differently from the normal Cosmo deck. It's not rush your butt to win, it's think about your plays because you can do a hell of a lot more than the normal deck can. Seriously. There are a lot more things that this can pull off. I find this one quite interesting, and yeah. Anyway, let's get into it. Obviously, the obvious ones are the 2 Dark Destroyers. Let's change and 3 Tin Can, because every deck should be running that at least. Now let's get
of what variant you're playing.
Yeah. I also run a double Sword Trooper and single Farm Girl build. I don't like the triple Sword Trooper build style or play style because it uses up so much life just to make a play that could easily be stopped by your opponent most of the time. And if you're revolving your plays around Sword Trooper, you're using up a lot of life for the potential to get somewhere, and it's just too risky and too much life to risk. But in the same, in saying that, it's also a very good card to have if you utilize it in a different way. And this is where it starts to get a little bit different. I run the double Slip Rider and double Delta Shuttle. Again, people try to diss Delta Shuttle all the time, but when you're going first, Delta Shuttle's a hell of a lot better than having Slip Rider in your hand. A hell of a lot better than having 4 on it at all. Dogfighter's arguable because the 2400 defense is relevant in a couple of cases. And if you play it right, you don't really need a Wicked Witch. So yeah, I have some combo videos coming out that just showcases a little bit, how Delta Shuttle can be used. It's a lot better than you guys might think it is. You can do a lot more plays than what people like to let off, or how would I word it? Give it credit for, yeah. I've spent a fair bit of time playing this. Again, I was like everyone else. I thought this card was absolutely horrible. It was, one of the shittest cards I've ever seen. I thought I'd never play this card. It's a piece of crap. And after I started playing it, I'm like, this is a lot better than what anyone thinks it is, than it's given credit. Its effect to send a Cosmo monster to the grave as fucking cost, is actually really relevant. And it's actually really fucking good too. Especially when you consider that you have cards like Sword Troopers, which want to have Sword Troopers, or Farm Girl, or Straw Man in the grave to make plays. Yeah, Delta Shuttle really fucking helps, and it's a lot better when you go first than Slip Rider if you can't use Slip Rider. And yeah, I've got. I'll show you again later what you can do in the mirror. This build runs triple Straw Man because that's what this build utilizes. It utilizes Straw Man to win the game, and not a lot of other cards which normal builds do. Also run double Curry Bandit. I was running 3. I found that 3 was a bit excessive, and a lot of times I sided out, so I only had 1, especially if I was going second. But I think a 2 is a pretty good balance. Like, if you're going first, it's good to start it, and late game it's also very good. It's just the middle of the game, or if you go second, you don't want it. Late game is exceptional actually, because this deck is very, very good at getting all of your Cosmo monsters to the grave, especially with Strawman bringing Delta Shuttle back, and you being able to send his cost to the grave, so you just get the rest of them out. Creeban is great because then you basically just set up with spells and traps. You can tribute him and go through 5 and get what you want. Albeit you might not be able to play it that turn, it's still pretty relevant. And the last card's BLS because again, it's not so much his attack or his effect to banish that is the relevant part of BLS. The relevant part of BLS is how he's summoned, that you banish 1 light, 1 dark. And I reckon, I have a big feeling that one of the new cards, maybe Dark Planet, is going to be summoned in a similar way to Black Luster Soldier. It might be Light and Dark Cosmo monster, or it could be a Psychic and a Machine Cosmo monster that you banish from the grave to special summon it out. And in that case, it would replace the BLS. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking it might be. That's the monster lineup. Again, I'll go through a couple of things later. Alright, spells and traps. I run double Dark Hole because it lets you do your plays as well as getting your opponent's field.
Triggers your ships.
Triggers your ships, yeah.
Triggered.
Funny thing is that if you... I showed this in a combo before. Say you have them, well, say you have these in hand and Dark Hole. You can go Sword Troopers... Yeah, Sword Troopers into Delta Shuttle. Play the Dark Hole, use Delta Shuttle to send Farm Girl to the grave. And then Dark Hole, the Delta Shuttle... Whoops. For Sword Troopers, use Sword Troopers to get Farm Girl. Farm Girl comes out. You make Leviator to bring out Sword Troopers using Sword Troopers. And then you Sword Troopers to Sword Troopers and make another 3, and yeah, you got plays. Not that that's too relevant. You know, I'll keep going with the spells. So double Dark Hole, double Twin Twister, because you really should be playing Twin Twisters. Because when you come up against opponents that have like, oh look, I got a strike and something else set, you're probably going to lose as Cosmos unless you have like E-Tellies, so that you can actually survive your first turn.
Or reasoning.
Or reasoning, and bring something out. Yeah, you really don't want to come up against back row. You really want to get rid of it. And as much as people think Slip Rider is good, if you're trying to use your monsters to bring out Slip Rider just to get rid of your opponent's back row, yeah, you're not going to get anywhere. Especially if they have... I normal summon my pilot. I banish my pilot to special summon Slip Rider. Strike. Oh no, I can't get rid of the strike with my Slip Rider. Yeah, that's all too relevant. You really should be running Twin Twisters in this deck. Like, really should be.
In majority, if not all decks anyway. Yeah,
like, back row... Some of the back row now is just really powerful, and especially against the mirror, hell, even against fucking Draco Pals, you just want to get rid of that back row. And again, against Monarchs, you don't want them sitting with their domain and something else up, like an escalation or a turn, for those who run escalation. So, getting rid of that back row, still not bad. And again, even further, Twin Twister can make your plays relevant with Sword Troopers, so it's not painful to do so. And other cards in the deck. Obvious one is triple E-Telly, and where it changes it up again a little bit is the triple Power Well, because I am running Strawman, and the deck does revolve a lot around Strawman. Power Well is just phenomenal, and this one really gets to people apparently. One Cosmo Town. Now here's the biggest thing about Cosmo Town. People go, why the fuck do you run 1? Why don't you run 2 or 3 or nothing?
Or 0.
It's like, well, here's the thing. You run multiple copies of Cosmo Town, it can brick, just like everything else can brick if you run too much of something. The other thing is that Cosmo Town is really great when you want to go search. A common one I do is I go search Dark Destroyer, Cosmo Town, and Cosmojo. I like doing that search because then I know I'm going to get something that's going to be good. And another thing is that Cosmo Town in this build isn't for adding back your banished cards to your hand so you can use them. So it's not the idea of, oh look, I've got a Farm Girl on the field and I've got a Dark Destroyer and banished, and I want to add that Dark Destroyer to hand so I can use my Dark Destroyer, or I want to add the Slip Rider to my hand so I can use my Slip Rider. It's more for the fact that, oh, I have no monsters left in my deck, so when my Strawman's effect destroys my Dark Destroyer or my Slip Rider or my Delta Shuttle, I can't banish it out to special summon from the deck so that Strawman can special summon it again next turn. That's more what Cosmo Town's using this build for. It's more for, oh look, I'm going to add this tin can back to my deck, so when my Dark Destroyer dies, I can banish it and to special summon something out so that next turn my Strawman can use this again. And furthermore, it's like, oh look, this tin can goes back to my hand. I'm going to add one card back by shuffling that in and doing that. And the last thing is, obviously, oh look, I'm going to slip right at my Cosmo Town, so I've got Cosmojo, so the next turn, no matter what my opponent does, I win.
Or I can Twin Twister it.
No, I can Twin Twister it, either way. It's there as a necessity because it enables a couple of things which help, but at the same time, I don't need... It's a necessity to kind of have it, but at the same time, it's not a necessity, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But,
you need it, but you don't need it.
I need it, but I don't need it. Like, this deck is built to play around not having to have Cosmo Town.
But when you have it, it's good.
But when I have it, it's beneficial. And it can help me, you know, bring out a couple more plays. Even if I had searched it off with a Farm Girl attack. Like, it just enables a couple of things. Enough in a way that I don't want to have it in my opening hand or in a lot of other hands. But it's great to get it late game and just have that one-off, you know, power card search. And that's what Cosmo Town really is in this build. It's that one-off power card which is just like, cool, I can do a few different things with this, but I don't need to do these few different things with this card. And again, with this build, with the Strawman, you won't always have your big shoes banished to make use of the Cosmo Town. And you have so many cards that can just bring the Strawmans back from grave that you don't need to really worry about having to add stuff back every turn off Cosmo Town. And again, I think it's a bad mentality to have that you need to have the Cosmo Town to add your ships back so that you can keep playing, or add one of your parts back so you can keep playing. So that I've got so many reasons why there's only one in here. I've considered at many times running two, but every single time I've considered that, I've thought to myself, I don't need to. I've never needed to, never wanted to. And there's just so many times I've been like, if I had the second one, I would do nothing with this. Or, even more importantly, I wouldn't even be able to resolve its effect if I had a second one. Because if every time that I use a Slip Rider to pop a Cosmo Town, I'm losing a Slip Rider's effect. It's becoming bloody moot. So, for all intents and purposes, I run one Cosmo Town. God, that was a long explanation. Alright.
On one card.
Just on one card. It's so hard to explain to people why the fuck I run one Cosmo Town. It's just like, I don't fucking need more than one, and I want to have one. Next minute it gets limited, I'm like, I
was prepared for this.
I wasn't prepared for this. Next up is I run 3 Solemns.
Calculated.
Oh god, yes. 1 warning and 2 strikes. I don't want to run 3 strikes. I already use up enough life in this deck as it is, as Cosmos. And it already bricks once in a while as it is, because it's Cosmos. I think this is a good balance. I mean, there's been times we've had all 3, and I've been drawing into the 3, and I'm like, I'd rather draw into something else right now. I run the Triple Call and Double Oasis because this deck really likes that. It likes bringing stuff back from the grave, and it's good because your Tin Can searches or your Delta Shuttle sends to grave as cost, and you flip that over, and then you make plays.
What are you, an idiot sandwich?
Oh god. And finally, 2 Cosmojo. I'm not running 1 for 1. I found too many times, because I like going first, 1 for 1, it was too expensive just to use it. I mean, you discard a monster from your hand, you bring out the tin can, and then you can't really make a play off that.
Or they value you, and then you...
Or they value you, and you still lose out. And you're down 2 cards with the tin can that can't do anything. Or you go second, and you use up a card, and you bring out the tin can, and then they go Dark Destroy, and you got nothing bigger in hand, and you go, well, that's that. And Soul Charge was just too slow. It was not necessary. Too much life, too slow. The deck already uses up enough life as it is. So yeah, 2 Cosmo Joe. People are starting to run 3. And I remember back from YCS Sydney, chatting with people, and a lot of us already said, you run 2 or 0. So you run 2 Cosmo Joe, not 3. Again, it's probably the most broken card in the deck, but you don't need 3. You can only activate 1 per turn. Is it use or activate? Let's only activate one per turn. That's something you should probably pay attention to. As much as it's useful, you can only activate one per turn as pretty much a brick if you draw more than one of it in your opening hand. It's great to search it, it's great to have it for late game, it's good to have it for early game as well. But you don't want more than one, you can't use more than one per turn. So you can't activate more than one per turn. It's not likely going first your opponent is going to negate one anyway. So yeah, I don't know why people are running 3 now. I'd already learned my lesson running 3 after Sydney, that 2 is the right number to run. Alright, let's go into extra deck. Oh shit. I've moved a couple of these things around. Give me one sec. Now there's one technical proxy in here, and shit, I forgot one card as well. I don't have the Barbaroid on me. So yeah, so run a Dullahan. That's good for tin cans. Sky's Cavalry Centauria. Considering 2, it's very uncommon that I'd need a second one. Give you Brilliant, the Windsor Mirror. Grand Pulse, amazing card, 2/8 defense. 1 Levier, was running 2, now running 1, don't need the second. Because that will be now a break sword once I get my hands on one. Because, again, I've never needed 2 Levier, it's never, my deck's not built to do that. 1 Ghostrick Angel of Mischief, because that goes on top of Dullahan, because why not? It's not like I use every card anyway. 1 Downed, because why not? Because they can also make a Utopia. I can use a 1 and a 2 to make Utopia. A 3 and a 1. 2. I can't do a 2 and a 3. So I can do it the 1 and a 3, or 1 and a 2, or 2 3s and make the Utopia. Because the 1 can go on a Angel, and 1 of the 3s can go on a Downed, makes Utopia. I was running this, never use it anyway. Don't really main the Ghost Ogres. Still got the Trishula anyway. Trishula's really good. The Scarlight's probably going to become a Barbaroid, which is good with Cyber Dragon Nova, which is also good with Infinity. And then Volk, Gaia Charger, and yeah, that's the Barbaroid to go with Infinity. Sideboard. It's still the same. I still haven't got a lot. Got a lot of change to it. I don't know what to say. I haven't really gone over what I'd change. I haven't got magic deflectors just yet. I'm waiting for them to come in. And I've never had Master Restrict. So that's probably why it hasn't changed yet. 2 system down. I take out the dark holes for them in the mirror. 2 Ghost Ogres. 2 Max C. Still running triple Monarch Stormforth and triple Fog King. And 2 Time Space. Because it's a lot better than running Quaking Mirror Force against the mirror. Because you'd rather just stop your opponent making a play than let them do all their plays and then do something about it. So yeah, hope you guys like that. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe. Comment down below what you think. And yeah. Oh, before I finish up actually. I was actually going to say. Against the mirror, say you're going 1v1 against your opponent. As in, they've only got 1 monster, you've only got 1. So you went first, yeah, your opponent has gone second. Say somehow you both got Dark Destroyers in the field. You ram into it. What I would do is I'd bring out the Delta Shuttle. I've got another video explaining most of this. They'd probably bring out a Forerunner. I don't know what my Forerunner is for now. Let's just say this is Forerunner. 2-8, 2k, they're probably going to run into this. I'd bring out Strawman, and what are they going to do? They're either going to have to overcommit. They've already done 2 cards just to do that. They're either have to overcommit, play E-Telly, and then banish that into a bigger ship. In which case you could still have another ship in your hand, and back row. Well, that's gone. I don't know. They're either going to have to overcommit just to kill the Strawman off, or they're going to not do anything and going to be sitting on a Forerunner, in which case your next turn is play your cards and, you know, oh look, Dark Destroyer, or Delta Shuttle back out from Strawman, depending on what plays you can make. So yeah, I thought I'd just bring that one up quickly. Or, similarly, if your opponent attacks into you, you can just bring out the Strawman. So you're attacking your opponent, and they bring out a Forerunner. You can just bring out Strawman, and add the Dark Destroyer, just to summon the Dark Destroyer back, so that in turn that gets destroyed, you go do a Tin Can search, and they're sitting on Forerunner. So yeah, that's it. Dragoneither out.